Hello and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist. So today, we are doing something a little different. We are putting on our economic analysis hats to break down a very popular clip of former governor and presidential candidate Mr. Peter Obi. In this speech from the platform, Mr. Obi proposed a radical idea. Instead of borrowing for consumption, why not divert a fraction of that debt to directly fund entrepreneurs? He throws around some big numbers, trillions of nairas, billions of dollars, and millions of jobs. But the big question is this plan brilliant economic genius or just wishful thinking? Is it a viable path to prosperity for Nigeria? Well, we'll break down the pros and cons and the real-world feasibility of this proposal. Let's get into the gist. First, let's watch the clip in full. So sit back and take a watch.
People say, what do we need? I said, you need aggressively support this sector to unleash what they can do in Nigeria. How do you do it? People say, oh, there's no money. We have borrowed a total of 28 trillion naira, $90 billion. If we had devoted a quarter of that, 7 trillion, $23 billion to supporting that DNA Professor Gupta mentioned. Before I go into that, let me give you an example of what I experienced when the recent conference I attended, Tony Elumelu Foundation. The CEO of that foundation, Mr. Ifeanyi Ugochukwu, said that for every entrepreneur they supported with $5,000, he created 20 jobs after 1 year. Speakers after speaker came and supported that position. Now, if we had taken away 25% of this money, $23 billion, and decide to support our entrepreneurs with grants, we would have given it to 4,600,000 entrepreneurs, assuming only 75% of them, which is 3,450,000, had created just 50% of the job. Ms. Ifeanyi has said, instead of 20, they created 10. They would have created 34,500,000 jobs. If we had 34,500,000 people employed today, we wouldn't be talking about 98 people living under poverty. It is very simple. It's not a rocket science.
All right, welcome back. There's a lot to unpack there. So, to analyze this properly, let's break down Mr. Obi's core argument into three parts: the problem, the proposed solution, and the justification. So, number one, the problem he identified: massive national debt. Mr. Obi correctly points out Nigeria's rising debt profile. He mentioned a figure of 28 trillion naira, equivalent to about $90 billion at the time. This highlights a critical economic issue. Nigeria has been borrowing heavily, but the impact on average citizens' prosperity isn't always clear. The concern is that the country is accumulating debt without a corresponding growth in productive capacity. Secondly, the proposed solution: divert a portion of debt to entrepreneurs. His solution is to take a quarter of this borrowed sum, which he calculates at 7 trillion naira or roughly $23 billion, and inject it directly into the economy. Method of injection: the money wouldn't be for building infrastructure in this specific plan, but will be given as grants small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and entrepreneurs. He calculates this could support about 4.6 million entrepreneurs with a $5,000 grant each. Thirdly, justification, the why. So, job creation multiplier effect. This is the heart of his argument. He leans on the model of the Tony Elumelu Foundation. At the time of this speech, the CEO of the foundation was Ifeanyi Ugochukwu. The foundation's program provides entrepreneurs with $5,000 in non-refundable seed capital. Mr. Obi cites a figure that every entrepreneur funded creates 20 jobs. Reports from the foundation itself have often stated that on average, each funded entrepreneur creates between 3 to 4 direct jobs. So while this figure of 20 might be on the higher end, the core principle that seed funding creates jobs is well documented. Using his conservative estimate of 10 jobs per entrepreneur, he projects the creation of over 34 million jobs, which could theoretically wipe out unemployment and drastically reduce poverty. So my critical take, that is the pros and cons. So now that we've understand the proposal, let's look at it with a critical eye. What are the potential upsides and the serious challenges? The pros, why this is an attractive idea. Bottom-up economic growth. This is a classic bottom-up approach. Instead of a few large corporations or government projects getting all the funds, you empower millions of small business owners. This can create a more resilient and diversified economy. Tackling unemployment directly. Unemployment is one of the Nigeria's biggest challenges. This plan makes job creation its primary and most direct goal, which is a powerful message and a tangible objective. Fostering innovation. By funding entrepreneurs, you are essentially funding new ideas, new technologies, and new solutions to local problems. This can lead to long-term economic dynamism. Now let's see the cons, the potential pitfall and challenges. The issue of grants versus loan. Mr. Obi specifically mentioned grants. Giving out $23 billion as non-repayable grant is incredibly expensive. Most economic empowerment programs globally use loan or a mix of grants and loan to ensure the capital revolves and can be used to fund the next batch of entrepreneurs. A pure grant system is not sustainable. Implementation and corruption. This is the elephant in the room. How do you fairly and transparently select 4.6 million entrepreneurs from a population of over 200 million? The logistical challenge is immense, and the risk of the funds being diverted or given to politically connected individuals instead of genuine entrepreneurs is extremely high. Is capital the only problem? While funding is a major hurdle for SMEs, it's not the only one. Poor electricity, bad roads, inconsistent government policies, and the lack of infrastructure are also massive problems. Giving an entrepreneur $5,000 is great, but if they have to spend half of it on a generator, the impact is significantly reduced. A holistic approach is needed. So part 3, can it be done in a year? Finally, the big question is the feasible, especially within a short time like 1 year. Honestly, no. Implementing a program of this magnitude in a single year is nearly impossible. Disbursing $23 billion to 4.6 million people requires a robust, transparent, and efficient system that Nigeria currently does not have. It will take more than a year just to build the framework, vet the applicants, and set up a monitoring mechanism to prevent fraud. Furthermore, economic transformation of this scale takes time. Even if the money is disbursed, it takes time for businesses to grow and start hiring. The expectation of seeing 34 million new jobs in 1 year or even 2 years is unrealistic. However, the principle behind the idea is very powerful. The government absolutely needs to shift its focus towards aggressively supporting SMEs. Perhaps a more realistic approach will be to start with a smaller, more manageable pilot program. Fund 50,000 or 100,000 entrepreneurs through a transparent process involving the Bank of Industry and private sector partners. Then use the data and lesson learned from that to scale up over several years. So, what's my final gist on this? Peter Obi's proposal is a compelling vision that correctly identifies the problem, mismanaged debt, and offers a solution focused on the real engine of Nigerian economy, its people. The core idea of investing in entrepreneurs is sound. However, the plan as presented in this clip is more of a powerful rhetorical point than a detailed policy blueprint. It oversimplifies the challenges of implementation, sustainability, that's grants versus loan, and the other structural problem crippling businesses in Nigeria. It's a fantastic conversation starter, but the reality will be far more complex. What do you think? Is this a plan you believe in? What are the challenges I might have missed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more trading gists. Thanks for watching.